My friends, today I want to speak directly to your heart. In a world full of noise, voices pulling you in every direction, opinions flooding your mind, and distractions tempting your focus, it's easy to lose sight of who you are and where you're going. There's a constant hum around us: social media, criticism, comparison, fear, doubt. It all clutters our thoughts and clouds our vision. But deep inside each one of us is a voice that's quiet yet powerful, a voice that knows your purpose, your passion, your path. That voice gets drowned out by the noise unless you make the decision to turn it down. You see, your journey, your growth, your calling, it doesn't come from the chaos around you. It comes from the clarity within you. And so I say to you today, it's time. Time to block the noise. Time to stop chasing the approval of others. Time to stop measuring your life by someone else's yardstick. Focus on you. Focus on what's true. Focus on the fire that was placed inside you for a reason. That fire, if you let it, will guide you further than any applause, any trend, any empty opinion ever could. There comes a point in every life where the noise of the world grows so loud, it drowns out the whisper of truth that lives within us. The noise is everywhere. It's in the headlines. It's in the constant scroll of your phone. It's in the opinions of people who don't walk in your shoes. It's in the fear they sell, the pressure they push, and the expectations they pile upon your shoulders. And after a while, if you're not careful, that noise becomes your guide. It tells you what success looks like. It tells you how to dress, how to speak, who to be. It tells you you're not good enough, not fast enough, not smart enough. It tells you that your dream is too big or your story too small. But I want to tell you something today. That voice, that noise, it does not define you. It does not own your purpose, and it cannot write your future unless you hand it the pen. You were made for more than the confusion and chaos of this world. There is a clarity inside you, a light that was placed there from the beginning. But to see that light, to feel that power, you must first silence the world around you. Silencing the world doesn't mean you ignore people. It doesn't mean you run from your responsibilities or shut yourself off from everything. No, it means you take back control of what you let in. It means you turn down the volume of negativity, of gossip, of judgment. It means you stop giving power to people who were never meant to shape your identity. You begin to listen for the truth that doesn't shout but whispers. And that truth is found not in the noise but in the quiet, in the stillness, in those sacred moments when you choose to sit alone and listen to your own heart. Inner clarity isn't something that appears overnight. It takes time. It takes practice. It takes the courage to be still when the world is rushing by. But once you taste it, once you feel that peace that doesn't need validation, that direction that doesn't shift with the wind, everything changes. You stop needing the world to tell you who you are, because you already know. You stop chasing applause, because your purpose isn't up for a vote. You stop fearing failure, because your foundation is deeper than any stumble. I've seen people with all the noise of success, the money, the titles, the attention, and yet they are lost. They are restless, because the noise outside was louder than the truth inside. And I've seen people who had none of that, but they walked with a calm strength, a quiet confidence, a peace that could not be shaken. Why? Because they had found inner clarity. They had blocked the noise and tapped into the voice that never lies. That voice tells you were made with intention, that your life matters, that your scars are not your shame, but your strength, that your past does not define you, and your future is not a copy of someone else's highlight reel. That voice speaks life, and it speaks it with love, not fear, but the world will always try to interrupt. It will send distractions that look like opportunities. It will send criticism, disguised as advice. It will try to fill your life so full of noise that you forget what quiet even feels like. That's why you must protect your clarity. You must make space for silence. Whether it's a walk without your phone, a few minutes of stillness before the day begins, or time spent in reflection, you must choose it. The world won't give it to you. You have to take it. And when you do, when you commit to silencing the world, even just for a moment, you'll begin to see things differently. You'll begin to move with intention, not impulse. You'll begin to speak from truth, not fear. You'll begin to rise, not because someone lifted you up, but because something inside you pushed you forward. There's a reason clarity is powerful, because when you have it, no one can take it from you. The storms may come, the critics may shout, the world may spin, but you will remain anchored. You will remain grounded, because your direction doesn't come from the chaos, it comes from within. This world doesn't need more noise. It needs more people who are clear in their values, clear in their vision, clear in their identity. And that kind of clarity only comes when we make the choice, day by day, moment by moment, to silence the world and listen within. So today, wherever you are, I want you to know that you don't need to keep up with the world to find peace. You don't need to match its volume to be heard. You don't need to follow the noise to find direction. What you need is already inside of you, waiting, calling, whispering. Will you be still enough to hear it? Will you be bold enough to follow it? Will you have the courage to silence the world and finally focus on the one voice that truly matters, your own? There's a battle that rages not around us, but within us. A battle that every man and woman must face at some point in life. It's not fought with fists or weapons, but with thoughts, with fears, with that quiet voice that whispers you're not enough. That voice of doubt that rises up when you step towards something greater, something unfamiliar, something that calls you higher. Doubt doesn't come dressed as a monster. No, it often comes dressed as reason, as caution. It says you're being unrealistic. It says you're too late, too broken, too far gone. And the more you listen, the more you believe it. Before long, you stop trying, you shrink back, you settle, not because you weren't capable, but because you allowed doubt to speak louder than truth. But I want you to know today that you were never meant to live shackled by doubt. Doubt is a liar, and its greatest fear is that you'll discover who you truly are. Because when you do, when you finally tune into your true self, you begin to realize that the strength you thought you lacked was there all along. You just needed to hear it. You just needed to believe it. You see, inside of you is a voice that's quiet, but unwavering. It doesn't shout. It doesn't demand, but it speaks with power. It says you were made for more. It says your scars have purpose. It says your dreams are not random. They're rooted in something real. That voice, that true self, it's been there from the beginning, but life has a way of burying it. The noise of the world, the weight of comparison, the wounds of the past, they pile up, and suddenly you forget. You forget the courage that carried you through hard days. You forget the passion that once burned so bright. You forget the victories that doubt tried to erase. But the good news is this: your true self never left. It's waiting for you to stop listening to the lies and start remembering the truth. Drowning out doubt isn't a one-time event. It's a daily decision. It's choosing, moment by moment, to turn the volume down on fear and turn the volume up on faith. It's not about pretending you don't feel afraid. It's about refusing to let fear have the final word. You may hear the voice of doubt, but you don't have to believe it. You may feel uncertain, but you don't have to be paralyzed. You have the power to choose which voice you follow. Some of the strongest people I've ever met didn't look strong on the outside. They didn't have perfect lives or spotless pasts. What they had was resilience. What they had was the willingness to listen to the truth inside them, instead of the doubt that surrounded them. They tuned into something deeper, something real, and because of that, they walked in purpose. They walked in peace. And so can you. Your true self is not defined by your failures. It's not limited by your circumstances. It's not shaped by other people's opinions. It's rooted in something unshakable. It's shaped by the trials you've overcome, the love you've shown, the hope you've held on to when everything else said give up. It's shaped by the quiet moments of courage, the late night prayers, the steady faith that said I will not give in. And when you begin to live from that place, when you start making decisions from clarity, not confusion, something changes. Your steps become more certain. Your words carry more weight. Your presence becomes a light in a world that desperately needs it. You stop needing to prove yourself because you know who you are. You stop fearing failure because you've learned that every stumble is a step towards strength. You stop comparing your journey because you understand that your path is sacred and no one else can walk it for you. But let me tell you, doubt won't go quietly. It will try to creep back in. It will remind you of past mistakes, of what didn't work, of who walked away. It will say, see, nothing's changed. But don't listen. Doubt is loud, but it is not lasting. Truth endures. And the truth is that every day you choose to rise, to believe, to move forward, you are winning the battle. Every time you silence the voice that says you can't, and answer with the quiet confidence that says you will, you are tuning into your true self. And that self is more powerful than you know. This world needs more people who are real, people who are not perfect but present, not flawless, but faithful, people who know who they are and walk in it boldly. And that starts with you. It starts with deciding that your life is too valuable to be governed by doubt, that your dream is too important to be silenced by fear, that your purpose is too powerful to be buried under lies. So stand up, speak life over yourself, step into the truth that was written over you long before the world tried to label you. There is a fire in your soul. There is a calling on your name. There is a reason you woke up today with breath in your lungs. Don't waste it worrying about what could go wrong. Don't let doubt steal one more moment of your potential, because you, my friend, are stronger than you think. You are braver than you feel, and the world is waiting for the real you to rise. The true you, the one that doubt tried to bury, but could never destroy. The one that knows storms don't last, and scars don't define. The one that doesn't need the world's permission to shine, because you were born with a light that no darkness can dim. There was a time when the world moved slower, when the days felt longer, and people had room to think, to reflect, to be still. But today, we are living in an age of endless motion. Distractions are everywhere. They sit in our hands. They blink in our pockets. They fill every quiet space with noise. From the moment we open our eyes, to the moment we lay down to sleep, there is something calling for our attention. A message, a headline, a screen, a sound. And before we know it, our time is no longer our own. Our minds are pulled in every direction, our energy scattered, our purpose diluted. We chase moments that do not last, and we wonder why we feel so empty when the day ends. But deep within us, there is a greater calling, a voice that urges us to stop drifting and start deciding, to stop reacting and start rising. That voice is calling us from distraction to determination. It's calling us to remember why we're here, what we're meant to do, and who we're meant to be. You see, distraction isn't just about phones or media. It's about anything that takes you away from your purpose. It can be the opinions of others, the pressure to please, the weight of past regrets, or the fear of future failures. It can be the endless cycle of comparison, the addiction to approval, or the belief that busy equals meaningful. But none of that brings peace. None of that brings growth. None of that brings fulfillment. Distraction keeps you busy, but not effective. It keeps you moving, but not progressing. And at some point, you've got to stop and ask, what am I really chasing? The truth is your life is too precious to be lived distracted. Your days are too short to be wasted on what doesn't matter. There is something inside of you that longs for more, not more stuff, not more noise, but more clarity, more depth, more focus. Because when you focus, when you lock in on your mission, your values, your vision, you become unstoppable. Focus doesn't come easy. Especially not today. It requires discipline. It requires sacrifice. It requires saying no to the good, so you can say yes to the great. It means setting boundaries. It means unplugging. It means looking past the moment and seeing the bigger picture. Focus is not about perfection. It's about priority. It's about deciding what matters most and giving it your best. I've seen what happens when people find their focus. Their lives change. Their confidence grows. They stop second guessing and start taking bold steps. They stop living for applause and start living with conviction. They move from chaos to clarity, from fear to fire, from distraction to determination. Determination is when you've made up your mind that nothing will stop you. It's when you know there will be obstacles, but you refuse to quit. It's when your reason why is bigger than your excuse why not. And determination is not loud. It's not flashy. It's steady. It's faithful. It shows up every day, even when motivation runs out. It keeps going when no one is watching. It chooses progress over perfection and purpose over popularity. And that kind of determination, that laser-sharp focus, comes from within. It doesn't need the world to agree. It doesn't need a perfect plan. It just needs a willing heart and a made-up mind. Because when your mind is made up, your path becomes clear. When your heart is all in, your steps begin to align. And even when life gets noisy, even when distractions knock at your door, you'll have the strength to say no. You'll have the courage to stay the course. You'll have the clarity to remember what matters most. The most successful people in this world are not always the most talented. They're not always the loudest or the most visible. They are the ones who learned how to focus. They are the ones who chose to master their attention so they could master their purpose. They said yes to what mattered and no to what didn't. They took the same 24 hours everyone else had and used them to build something eternal. And you can do the same, no matter where you've been, no matter what distractions have stolen from you in the past. Today is a new day, a new chance, a new decision. You don't have to live scattered. You don't have to live small. You were made for focus. You were made for purpose. You were made to rise above the noise and walk in the direction of your destiny. So start today. Choose stillness over noise. Choose intention over impulse. Choose presence over distraction. Take back your time. Take back your mind. And watch what happens when your life is guided not by reaction, but by direction. There is power in your focus. There is greatness in your discipline. And there is a fire in your soul, waiting to burn brighter than every distraction that has ever tried to dim it. Every day we wake up and step into a world that is louder than ever, a world that rushes at us with expectations, opinions, comparisons, and 1,000 voices, trying to shape our decisions. It tells you what success should look like. It tells you who you should be, how you should act, what you should chase. It pressures you to keep up, to impress, to perform. And somewhere in the middle of all that noise, many people lose their way. They forget why they started. They forget who they are. They trade purpose for pressure and call it progress. But deep down, something feels off. Something feels empty. Because living to please the world will never satisfy the soul. There is a war going on inside so many hearts today. A war between pressure and purpose. Between the noise outside and the truth within. You hear the noise say you're falling behind, but your purpose says you're right where you're supposed to be. The noise says be like them, but your purpose says be like you. The noise says you'll never be enough, but your purpose says you already are. And every day, you have to choose which one you're going to follow. The noise is loud. It's relentless. It fills your screen, your feed, your thoughts. It disguises itself as urgency, but all it really does is distract. It convinces you that more means better, that busier means more valuable, that approval equals worth. And the more you feed the noise, the more disconnected you become from your own voice. The voice that knows you, the voice that leads you, the voice that calls you to something greater than applause or achievement. But the truth is, pressure will never lead you to peace. Chasing the noise will never bring you home. You were created with a purpose, and that purpose cannot be found in the opinions of others. It cannot be discovered through the lens of comparison. It was placed in you before the noise ever began, and it will still be there long after the noise has faded. Choosing purpose over pressure means slowing down in a world that wants you to speed up. It means listening to your heart when everyone else is shouting their opinions. It means being bold enough to follow a path that may not make sense to the crowd, but makes perfect sense to your calling. It means saying no to good things, so you can say yes to the right things. It means waking up with direction, not just distraction. You see, when you start living from purpose, you stop needing to be everything to everyone. You stop seeking validation from people who don't even know your story. You stop performing for applause that fades, and you start walking in truth at last. Purpose anchors you. It centers you. It clears your mind and steadies your feet. It gives you peace in the chaos and confidence in the unknown. Because when you know why you're here, you don't panic when things around you shift. You remain steady because your foundation is deeper than pressure. Now let me tell you, choosing purpose is not always easy. It may cost you popularity. It may mean letting go of some things that once made you feel important. It may mean walking alone for a season while others chase the noise. But what you gain in return is far greater. You gain clarity. You gain joy. You gain fulfillment. You gain a life that's aligned with who you truly are, not who the world told you to be. I've seen people with every reason to crumble under pressure, but they stood tall because they were rooted in purpose. I've seen people misunderstood, underestimated, overlooked, but they kept moving forward because their calling wasn't up for debate. They didn't need the noise to believe in themselves. They didn't need the pressure to perform. They had something stronger, something deeper. They had purpose. And you have it too. It's already inside you. You don't have to earn it. You don't have to prove it. You just have to choose it. Choose to listen. Choose to believe. Choose to rise each day with intention and live in a way that honors what truly matters. Don't let the noise trick you into chasing what you don't even want. Don't let pressure write a story that doesn't reflect your truth. You were made for more than surface living. You were made for meaning. Every step you take toward purpose is a step away from pressure. Every time you say no to what drains you and yes to what fuels you, you are choosing to live free. Every moment you spend becoming who you're called to be, instead of proving who you think you should be, is a victory. And those victories, quiet as they may seem, build a life that's not just impressive on the outside, but strong on the inside. So today I invite you to stop, to breathe, to listen. Beneath the pressure, beneath the noise, there is a voice calling you home. A voice that says you are enough, right now, as you are. A voice that says your purpose is not behind you or beyond you, it's within you. And when you live from that place, no noise can shake you, no pressure can break you, because you've made the most powerful decision anyone can make. To live for something eternal, instead of chasing something temporary. To live from the inside out, not the outside in. To live not by fear, but by faith. To walk not for show, but for substance. To choose purpose over pressure, every single day you rise. So as you walk out of here today, remember this. Your life is far too valuable to be lived for the noise. You don't need to prove yourself to the world when your purpose is already written within you. Let go of the pressure. Silence the distractions. Tune your heart to what truly matters. Walk with boldness, not because the path is easy, but because your calling is clear. Live with purpose. Speak with conviction, and stand firm in the truth of who you are. The world may be loud, but your soul was made to rise above it all with peace and power.